All right, next question. As Canadians who work with the Canadian government, what is your perspective on how the U.S. is handling COVID-19 in comparison to how Canada has handled it? So we're not going to answer this as people who work for the Canadian government, but we'll give you our personal feelings on it.
As Canadian citizens living in Canada.
I think like the main thing we'd want to communicate with this is it's pretty shocking the difference in how politicized wearing masks is in America. So like we'll watch American news channels and we see the viral clips on Twitter of, middle-aged women storming into grocery stores and throwing a fit because they're asked to leave because they're not wearing a mask. I'm not saying that's not happening in Canada. It absolutely is. I just think to a much lesser degree.
And the way it happens, and at least the narratives around this happening, is really quite different. There was an article recently about in Toronto, which is like the biggest major city in Canada. There was a small group of people, I think 40 people is what they said, who were protesting the use of having to wear masks, which were now made mandatory on public transit in downtown Toronto, which is a very populated city. And so their shirts and like slogans said like hugs over masks. And that's what they were doing. They were like, we'll offer you a hug instead of a mask. And that was their approach.
It's so stupid, but it's a much more friendly way of protesting, I guess. But no, I guess that's more about how the population and everyday people are responding to it. The government response is, I'm not sure how much we really want to comment. I think it's pretty embarrassing to see how political leadership in the States is handling this crisis.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Americans agree with that statement. So it's not a surprise that we as Canadians, we wish the American response were different because it affects us too.
Yeah, we'd love to, to get, like they've done opinion polls on whether or not Canadians think they should reopen the Canadian-U.S. border, right?
Right.
And it's hard to get opinion polls that like have almost unanimous agreement. But overwhelmingly, Canadians are like, no, we should not open the border. You guys clearly haven't gotten this under control in a meaningful way.
Yeah, and recently I saw this on the news the other day when they were talking about reopening filming projects. Like, in Hollywood, everything's still kind of shut down, and how are they going to continue? And a lot of production companies are talking about relocating shoots to other countries where restrictions are lifted because it's just been managed differently, and it's becoming more safe. So all of a sudden, what are you going to have these like giant American production companies moving outside of America, which was
countries are going to let them in though?
Good question. That I don't really know how that's going to happen, but if they were in theory able to, what used to be like the central hub of everyone goes to America to shoot productions, and that's the land of opportunity for the entertainment industry, what's happening now?
Oof, I don't know. It really depends how long this lasts when we get a vaccine. Anyway, this is too heavy and serious a topic.
Yeah, we also don't know what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, we don't have a crystal ball.